Your defensive line.
Did you get a haircut, Frank?
Yes, I did.
You look very handsome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Welcome inside this Tuesday Coaches Press Conference edition. Week 1 is in the books, and as sad as it is, we'll look back on Week 1. We'll look ahead to Week 2 as we hear from some of those coaches trying to get inside the top 25. Here is OSU head man Ryan Day.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into like crazy details on it all, but I felt like they needed to play better.
The energy and effort was where we would want it to be.
Appreciate you guys working with us on this, short week. Yesterday would have been a little bit of a stretch, so this is good. We'll get this done.
Like always, appreciate everybody coming out to cover Penn State football.
First of all, it's good to get out on the field and compete.
I didn't think we handled it as well as we could have.
But obviously, there's still some things that we've got to get cleaned up, which we expected. It's always great to be able to clean things up with a win.
It's a good job. It's one game.
We lost 5 plays and they lost 5 plays, so you're talking about a total of 10 plays. I think
Good to get the first one out, that's for sure, and just certainly most importantly, happy to get the victory.
The game moved slower. We can't panic. Can't do that. And we got to execute better. It's just the bottom line. It is what it is. We all have to deal with it.
As per normal, for a team, you usually see that big jump between game 1 to game 2, and we're very hopeful.
The old adage, the biggest improvement you make is between game 1 and game 2. That's always been said in coaching. I sure hope it is this week because we have a lot to get better at.
Hey, James, a guy who used to sit in that chair said that a football team, often makes its greatest improvement from week 1 to week 2.
Needless to say, this is a rivalry game. It's a big game in our state for good reason, and rightfully so.
I don't know if it's a concern, but it is different.
A familiar opponent that we played a year ago.
If you're executing well and converting on third down and doing a good job in the red zone, it's not an issue. If you're not, then it is.
And then they have the kid they had last year who's really a good player. He's wearing number 1 now.
the guy has got a smile on his face all the time. Literally all the time.
There are some things we would have done differently, maybe, in retrospect, had we known what to expect a little bit.
And so, we have to do a good job of executing early, because that's going to determine the outcome of the game.
I don't coach their team, but it looked like they didn't show a lot. They didn't have to necessarily, get into too deep into their game plan.
Who's big, you can see he's a physically mature guy.
But we played really good defense when it mattered most.
It was good enough to win.
Again, a lot of talk, a lot of excitement around the state, I'm sure.
It won't be good enough moving forward to reach our goals.
Do the things necessary to keep this excitement.
I'll mess with them, and they can't tell sometimes when I'm kidding and when I'm not.
And one of the things that scares the mess out of you is when he does try to extend, sometimes he puts himself in harm's way. And
I think we learned some things on Saturday. Yeah, I think that, I think we have an idea of.
Now that we've got a game under our belt, some things that we need to get corrected, we'll be able to get corrected and executed better in week 2.
And they should have beat us last year. So, we were fortunate to get out of the stadium with a victory.
At some point, you got to get up there, draw a line in the sand, and say, we're going to move people. No, it didn't happen. So,
my goal is to minimize them and eliminate them, and
we got to be really careful around him. So,
yeah, I guess everybody looks at it differently, right?
It is what it is.
What has to happen for Maryland to get an Ohio State to come here for opening day, or a Penn State?
If it was an easy answer, I'd give it to you.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think it's a fine line, right?
Like when he goes to tackle you, he tackles you. Yeah.
Being able to throw the far hash out.
I think we're going to focus on playing really, really hard and executing really well and being clean.
We played with effort, which gets you, sometimes when you play really hard, it covers up a lot of mistakes. So the guys did play hard.
I got a bunch of other things I could say, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
because when you have that first game, there's certain things that you make assumptions on that you're right on. There's other assumptions that you make that maybe you were wrong on.
Hey, Coach.
Sam, what's up?
How you doing?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case just in general what you said, but it seemed like that maybe was on Saturday.
Kind of curious about more than a newsy thing. The tight end
Did you say
position.
did you say newsy?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, news-ish.
Hey, Coach.
Taylor, what's up?
What's going on?
What is that,
what is that hat?
Scranton-Bollesbury Rail Riders.
Love it.
Yeah, it's sharp.
Where are we going with this, Bruce?
I'm going to go with Bell. I got a point.
All right.
Good afternoon, James.
Hey, Corey.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Maroon.
What's something that you can
So I hope that answers that question.
My job is to make sure we win games here.
Yeah, right now, if we're playing 5, 6, well, obviously we're playing 5, but 6, 7, 8 guys, we're doing it because we feel like they can go in and compete and play well, not because we're just trying to fish around or find something that might work.
Well, we threw some that we missed.
I guess winning the opening game means I can hit the fastball, but I need to work on that curveball a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a violation, but it's an eligibility question.
Those guys can do a lot. You can do a lot too.
He gave us the best chance to win.
I think people refer to as a 3-3 stack, so you think of that being like a past spread offensive front, but they do a great job. They really do a great job of getting.
You kind of look up and it's an incomplete pass, and the clock's not running, and you need that thing to run to make sure you're leaving with a win.
I believe he's going to be okay.
We felt like we had to go get a win on Saturday. I wish it was cleaner across the board. It wasn't, but we got the win.
He'll know it before. A lot of people know it.
have you heard of the S2 cognition test before?
No, sir.
And you can't say that about every football team. In fact, there's some that you can't say that about at all.
When you try to predict that stuff, you're better off going buying a lottery ticket.
And that's what happened on Saturday.